All right, gang. So welcome to the webinar. My name is Eric with Painting Business Pro. We're doing this webinar about how to finish the year strong, how to earn some extra profit now so you can enjoy the slow season. So a couple things about this. So there's a ton of opportunity we're going to get into. In fact, let's just go on to the next slides. So this is from last year. This is James. He's a Painting Business Pro member. He said, this was late September. That everyone, we're almost to the end of the season, keep grinding with hardly any work. The last week I sold about 50,000 worth of jobs because everyone else is booked up. Hire more subs and create some extra money for yourself for the winter. And then Adam Brown sent me this. And he said, I just want to thank you for the Painting Business Pro course. Started using subs to roll through the rest of our exterior jobs before the weather turns, and it's game changing for me. It's the easiest money I made all year. I'm running 3 employed crews as well. And the time it takes me to manage employed crews versus subs is not even comparable. Next year, only subs with 1 employed crew to do smaller deck jobs. This was just an email I got. There's a graphic design person who made it look pretty. I don't know if it was actually sent to me in January. I'm having him look back over some of my stuff. Anyhow, these are both obviously real testimonials, and this is my experience too. Our company is prepares and plans for the year to just clean up this time of year. So what we, wanted to do this webinar just because there's such a huge opportunity. And, in our industry, there's a slow season, and so many painting contractors get to the slow season and struggle. And something I always loved about the painting business was the slow season. And I loved it because I planned for it. You can fight the seasonality or you can plan for it. And, I always had the belief that if you want, you got to make a certain amount of money for the year. And the easiest way to make your annual income is to make money when it's easiest to make money, and don't bother trying to make money when it's hardest to make money. Now, I'm definitely a fan of trying to do as much work as you can in November and December and January for your painters and your subcontractors. Like, get as much work as you can. Keep those guys busy. Like, they need it too. It's not just slow for us as business owners, it's slow for everyone. And, it's important that you look out for your guys and get them as much work as you can. But it takes a huge weight off if you don't need to worry about you. You can price your jobs lower because you don't need to make profit. You're just bidding it to keep your guys busy. That helps customers. So anyways, in about 2 months, everything shifts and it gets slow. But right now we've got a really, really exciting part of the year. So that's why we're doing the webinar. So we're just going to talk about it. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, and then I'm just going to answer questions. So I'll bring you guys on the microphone and everything so we can just talk. So the way I would recommend going through this webinar is have a notepad or something, take some notes. And if you have questions, I'm going to cover kind of the main 4 things that you want to go through, or that we want to go through today about how to capitalize for the next 2 months. And then I'm just going to kind of cover the main points, and then I'll answer questions later. So for anybody who doesn't know who I am, I think most people here got emails from me or you're members of Painting Business Pro, but just in case you don't, I'll do a quick background. So I run Painting Business Pro, where I teach people how to start and build their painting company. I also run National Painting Group. So I'm the CEO of National Painting Group, where we own and operate 5 painting companies. I've got business partners who operate them with me. Last year we did $7.5 million in revenue with 4 companies. This year we started another one, and we'll do somewhere between 11 and 12 million. So we're just starting to really get going. I'm super excited about what we're doing there. So that's really my main business. I love what I do over there, and really excited for the possibility that we've got in just this industry and building a great company. Painting Business Pro has just been something that turned into having a life of its own. When I started Painting Business Pro in 2013, I wanted to teach people how to do what I knew, the only thing I knew, which was how to start and build a painting company. I didn't think it would be anything. I thought I might be able to help a few people and learn a thing or two about doing business online because it was exciting. And, at the time, my painting company was $650,000 a year. And then every year from 2013 till now, like, my business has grown and I've learned more, and more people have got Painting Business Pro, and more success stories came in. And the more Painting Business Pro grew and the more I learned, the more the programs got better, the more success stories happen. It's just become a really cool thing. So The reason I do business and the reason I love business is, first and foremost, is just to be a great dad. My dad was an entrepreneur and he was around. I've got a little girl. I've got another kid coming in October, and I love being able to spend time with them. Before I had a family, I love to be able to travel. I love to be able to make my own schedule. I love to be able to make great money, and I love the upside. The more I keep learning and developing myself and building a better business, the more I benefit. And so I just love business. I love entrepreneurship. And for all the reasons I love it, that's also why I like to help other people with it. All right. So enough about me. Let's jump in. So what's happening in the market right now is just mainly two things. Okay. And you should know that I went to school for economics and then business as well, but I've always loved economics. And there's something that is really interesting that happens economically this time of year. The first thing is we have this influx of customers. And look, this is true for most markets. Okay. So if you're working in Florida or Phoenix, you might not have this happening as much, but if you're like a lot of you guys, someone's in Ottawa, I know there's people on this webinar in Massachusetts and Vancouver, Washington. And in most markets in the US and Canada, this is happening. So the first thing that's happening is customers procrastinated their paint job. Okay, so there's a ton of customers who had fully intended on getting their house painted this year. But you know what happens when June comes around for most of our customers? Oh, what up, John? Most of our customers are adults, and a lot of them have kids. And you know what happens in June? Kids get out of school. And you know what happens when kids get out of school? Families get pretty busy. And you know what gets pushed back to the back burner? Painting their house. And you know what just happened? Kids went back to school. And the other thing that happened is there's a deadline to paint coming. All right. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, like I started to put on a hoodie for the first time in a long time, which I love. I love the cooler weather. I love the weather cooling off, but I put on a hoodie. I'm like, ooh, the weather's turning. I'm getting excited for fall. The projects that people put off, their kids are back in school and they start to be like, oh crap, I need to paint. I'm running out of time. So we see this kind of influx of customers who procrastinate. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but hand up, I tend to procrastinate things like house projects. Most people do. I think, procrastinators are abundant. There's a lot of people who procrastinate things, and your customers are no different. So we've got a lot of these customers who pushed off the project. And now they realize winter's coming. I got to get a quote. So they're kind of in a rush, because, well, they're not super in a rush yet. That's going to happen more and more over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And they also have limited options, which kind of brings us to number 2, which is the other thing that's happened. So we have this increase in demand with customers. More people want paint jobs, and there's this natural deadline for people like be in a buying state of mind. When you're doing quotes for people in January because they want to paint this summer, they're kind of casual about it, but not right now. People, you have the weather on your side. The second aspect that's happening right now is contractors. A lot of painting contractors get booked up. If you're running employee crews, this is one of the reasons we're talking about the benefits using subcontractors. But if you're using employee crews, and you've got 4 guys, you can do 10 grand a week. I'm just throwing out numbers because that changes. But let's just say you've got 4 guys, you can do 10 grand a week. You're not going to go and hire 4 more guys and get a van and get equipment and train them and onboard them so that you can do an extra 10 grand a week for the next 6 weeks. You're just not going to do it because then you'd have to lay them off because the slow season's coming and you already know you have a hard time keeping your existing guys busy. So any contractor out there that uses exclusively employees and is a decent contractor is already booked up. I run I co-own, my partner really runs it, but a lead service, Painter Choice. So we provide painting leads to contractors. So homeowners request an estimate through our service. We connect them with contractors. I just will never forget it, but I remember this one customer, this was years ago, but she hit us up in September and was like, used our service, got connected to someone, got a bid, got someone hired. But she sent us an email. I was like, thank you guys so much. I literally called 17 painting companies and no one returned my call. All right. So in January, that's not happening. In December, that's not happening. When it's slow, Contractors are answering their phone. Contractors are not saying they're booked up. So we have these two really interesting things happening. There's more customers and there's fewer contractors, which means, man, that is really good for business. Okay. Creates a huge opportunity. The slow season's coming and it contrasts with right now. In the slow season, there's a lot less work and there's more contractors. And then what happens, you probably know what happens, but that typically means there's more competition, which drives prices down, which drives margins and profit down. And it leads to a lot of people kind of grinding through the winter. The opposite thing happens right now, where you have an opportunity to charge more money when a higher percentage of your jobs make higher margins and stash that money away so you don't need to worry about the slow season. Making money now is way easier than making money later. And so we're going to go through the numbers, marketing, selling, and recruiting painters, and specifically recruiting subcontractors. All right. So the first thing is I would recommend pulling out a pen and paper or doing some of the math yourself. But here's the numbers in 8 weeks. So we're going to just assume right now it's the 23rd. Let's say you start executing this in a week. You've got the week of August 30th, September 6th, September 13th, 20th, 27th, and then a few weeks in October. That might give or take a week depending on where you're at in the country. But then in late October, I'll do a webinar about how you can keep selling exterior jobs in November and selling people for next year. So we can keep cash coming in and we can start lining up our schedule for next spring. So we'll get to that in a couple months. So these numbers I put together here, guys, is super conservative. Okay. You remember the beginning, James, he had a $50,000 sales week, the end of September. And just so you know, James is in Kansas City. Okay. So, middle of the country in terms of north, south. All right. So let's just say we add 2 estimates a week for the next 8 weeks. And let's just say you book one of them. And truthfully, like our sales rate goes way up this time of year. Our company sales rate's been about 50, a little over 50% all year. The last few weeks, we've been selling 65, 70% of our estimates. All right. Cause we've already started implementing this at our company. So let's say you do 2 more estimates a week. Takes you 3 hours to do those extra estimates. You book one job, and most of these are going to be full exterior jobs because that's the opportunity right now. Interiors, you're giving people a discount to wait. So you're doing 4,000 in sales. Now let's just say we're spending just an outrageous amount on marketing, $400. And you really should not be spending $400 to do 2 estimates, but let's just give yourself that budget. Remember, I'm giving you conservative numbers. 50% goes to your subcontractor because you can charge more money right now. Not an outrageous amount, but a little more. There's more demand. You should charge a little bit more right now. And you kind of need to, because one of the things you need to do is you need to be able to get the labor to do the jobs. And one of the best ways to get more labor is pay more money. All right. So if you're charging more money, you can pay more money. You can recruit good people to come in and do that 4,000 sales a week. That leaves us with a 40% profit margin of $4,000, which is $1,600 a week. Do that for 8 weeks. That's $12,800 in profit. So what I would recommend doing is just do your own numbers quick. So you can just put in the chat, what's your goal? Are you in for trying to make this happen? And what's your goal for income? So just take a second. I'm actually going to just pause this recording for a second while you guys do a little math, and let's just. All right. So we paused that so people could set some goals. We got, 3 estimates a week goal, 8 estimate week goal. Got Matt and Marcia have just hired on 2 more subcontractors this week who are ready and hungry for work. We're already charging more. Paul has a goal of 4 estimates a week. The bottom line is set a goal. All right. And it's going to be a little bit more work, but let's say you're doing 4 estimates a week and it's taking you, 6-7 hours a week. And then, you might work an extra 15 hours a week for a few weeks. But you're not going to have to worry about a thing when the slow season comes. All right. So let's keep moving. So this is just kind of how the numbers and how they break down. This is the opportunity. And this should be in addition to what you're already doing. All right. This isn't your goal. This is just bonus. And these numbers, this is really conservative. This could be a lot higher than that. Our company sales is just going through the roof right now and we're prepared for it. This is when we make a boatload of money. All right. Marketing. So there's a lot of marketing opportunities. So really how this all breaks down, guys, is we need to get more estimates. We need to close those jobs at high prices, and then we need to subcontract those jobs. Now, this can't be shortcut. We need to have good people do good quality work. We need to sell these jobs at good prices, and we need the estimates. So we're going to look at marketing, sales, and then bringing on subcontractors. So marketing, there's tons of things that you can do for marketing in the big picture. But what we need right now is a couple things that you can push a button and get more leads. All right. And remember, you have $400. You have a $400 budget to sell one job each week. $400 is a lot of money. All right. So, and by the way, that's also to make huge numbers. The reality is you could spend even more money than 400 and still be making bank. Okay. So, one aspect, and honestly, this is the easiest one if you're not already using it, is just lead services. All right. So Painter Choice, I co-own that company. I think we got 140 leads yesterday. Like, we're seeing marketing pick up a ton. And that's in like maybe 50 cities. We're seeing things go nuts over on the lead side. So Painter Choice is one option. You'd go to paintingleads.com. CraftJack is another option. I think that's just craftjack.com. Thumbtack is another option. Networks is another option. Home Advisor is another option. Now, what's nice about all 5 of these is you sign up. It'll take you 30 minutes on the phone to sign up. Give them your credit card, and they'll start sending you leads. It's just that simple. All right. And any one of these should be able to get you another 2 estimates a week. Literally any one of these should get you 2 estimates a week. If we're talking to Michelle, who's in Austin, Texas, you should, I think between all these, you shouldn't have any trouble getting to 8 estimates a week. You also want to remember that I can just tell you, Painter Choice, like, we start to hit a low right about now with how many contractors are buying leads. It goes along with what I already told you. There's less contractors out there. There's a low in buying leads. I see Jay say, Painter Choice isn't in Gainesville. We're not. We're a small company. So if we're not, that's okay. Use CraftJack, Thumbtack, Networks, or Home Advisor. All right, that's one option, is lead services. If you're not using those, that's just the easiest because it's shortest time to set up. You exchange money for leads. Even Home Advisor, I think they charge the most money by far. It varies a lot, their pricing structure, but let's just say they're charging $125 a lead. You get 3 leads, do 2 estimates, and book a job. Or maybe you spend $500 for 4 leads, do 2 estimates, and book a job. It's still worth it. All right, so lead services is one option you have. Just if you don't have them going, that's how you get them going. All right. Next is you got Facebook. This one's, I didn't put this one at the top. There's a great opportunity on Facebook. We're generating a ton of leads on Facebook, but the downside of Facebook is there's a lot more work to set it up. All right. And if you do things wrong on Facebook, it can kick your ass. And you could spend a bunch of money and not get leads. But if you're kind of a tech person and you kind of get this stuff, Facebook is a great option. Put a picture, like literally put a picture of you on a job site as the ad and say, need to get your house painted before it snows. Contact us today before it's too late. And that's your ad. All right. And then run that ad and, you ought to be able to get leads from Facebook. Painter Choice, I don't believe is in Idaho, Boise, but I'm not sure. Other option you can do is just posting on Nextdoor. Ask your friends and family to post about your company on Nextdoor. Everything marketing wise is easier right now than it is any other time of the year because customers are having a hard time finding contractors. Another option is door to door. You can literally go around the jobs you're already doing. And if a house looks like it needs painting, knock, knock. Hey, how's it going? I'm Eric with Foothills Painting. I noticed you had some peeling paint up here. Would you guys like a free estimate? All right. And it's just that simple. The other thing you could do is you could start dropping flyers. Hey, the same thing I said on Facebook. Put a picture of you, your company name, say, hey, need to get your house painted before it snows. Contact us today before it's too late. Here's the number. Here's the website. All right. So you keep it super simple and just take action. All right. So is there anybody, so in the chat, what you could do is, sorry, I'm trying to read the chat and talk. Pinterest in Idaho area meeting. I don't know, Angel. You just have to contact us, man. I don't really run day to day at Painter Choice. I'm not sure if we're in Boise or not. Okay. Everybody got it? Now, you would have to be running a pretty big company if you're doing all of these already. Okay. Yeah. So Michelle, you would change your messaging a little. Yep. Okay. And then Matt said you forgot Angie's. our Google reviews sends us a ton when people search painters when we pop up number one. Yeah, so Matt, I did put Angie's on here because I don't know enough to trust it. Because I know they're changing things. They merged with Home Advisor so that the Home Advisor can send their leads through Angie's because Angie hasn't ruined their reputation yet, but Home Advisor kind of has. There's a whole bunch of shady stuff going on there. And then as far as Google reviews, I totally agree. Being ranked high with your website, having a ton of Google reviews is huge. We're getting way more just call-in leads right now than we do all year, but that's not on this list because if you're not already ranked at the top of Google, that's not really an option. But long-term, there's a lot of other things you should be investing in from a marketing perspective. But short-term, if you need to snap your fingers and get more leads, these are the quickest, easiest ways to do that. Got it? All right. So if you have questions about marketing and how to get more leads for the next 8 weeks, write them down. We'll come back to it. And yeah, Paul, thank you for that. If you're in Canada, HomeStars is the best lead gen or one of the biggest lead gens, which also happens to be owned by Home Advisor. But that would be an option in Canada. Okay. All right, sales. So now we're getting more leads, and there's something I call seasonal selling. So we have different parts of the year that require a different approach. If you're selling in November and trying to sign people up to paint with you in March or April, there's some things you should say differently. There's a way to pitch that differently. There's some way to frame discounts differently. When you're in January or February trying to sell jobs for June or July, people don't really have any urgency. They're not really in a buying state of mind. They're kind of just shopping. There's things you can do during that time of year to increase your sales. Well, it's no different right now. There's changes and tweaks, and we started changing our sales process early August. We had a training with our sales team, and we always do this to say, hey guys, remember, we need to start changing how we talk to customers because you have a huge opportunity to use seasonality to your advantage for the next 2 months. And the advantage is you just have to tell customers the truth. And so here's what I mean by that. The first thing is you've got this initial phone call, or at least the way I teach sales. The first phone call when you're setting up the estimate is really important. Most painting contractors, most contractors have a really weak sales process, and their initial call is just not very strong. It's just kind of like, hey, cool, what do you want to get done? Cool, when are you available? Cool, what's your address? See you then. We teach a pretty detailed initial phone call where, and so for all you guys who are members on the call, you already know this. And if you aren't a member of Painting Business Pro, you can email me after and I'll send you the script. But you want to be, this is one question we have our people ask is, are you serious about getting this work done? And because what's happened, guys, is the dynamics have flipped. Like, we're not out here selling jobs. Like, we're the ones in demand this time of year. Like, you got to understand the dynamics here that some of your customers that you're talking to, they've called 4 or 5 companies and no one has gotten back to them. Like, they're trying to get this project done and no one's getting back to them. When you say something like, well, listen, are you serious? Are you guys serious about getting this done? Like, we're really busy. We're almost booked up. We might be able to get a few more people in. If you wait a couple more weeks, I can't even guarantee that we're going to get you in before it gets cold. Like, we can start using that language because it's true. Okay. So we want to start turning the tables a little like, hey, why should I bother with you? Are you serious? Are you ready to make a decision? Have you picked out your colors? Have you guys talked to your HOA? Do you know how your HOA approval process works? When are you ready to get this done? These are the kind of questions we want to start asking people. Like, we're almost screening them, because to some degree we are. I mean, we're flooded with estimates right now. I'm not going to bother doing an estimate with someone who is only kind of serious. In January, I will, because we're like, hey, it's slow. Like, we'll take the estimates, but right now we're not. I mean, we're going out to qualified prospects only. Ask them about their timeline, the HOA, colors, how ready are they to go? No time for bullshit. We are serving them. A lot of companies are booked up. Like, we tell this to people. A lot of companies are booked up this time of year. We prepare for this and we're ready, which is why we're even able to do your project. I always tell them that. Yeah, you can definitely get more estimates. I mean, I know a lot of companies are just booked up, and just full disclosure, like if you wait too long, I can't guarantee that we can get you in. Right now, I still can. In a couple weeks, we'll be telling customers we can't guarantee it anymore, which is true. We will tell customers starting in about 2 weeks, we cannot guarantee to get your house done this year. As long as the weather is good and you get us your colors done really quickly, then we should be able to, but you never know what the weather's going to do. And we're busy. So we'll put you, as soon as you give us the go ahead and sign up with us, you're in the next spot in the queue. So the sooner you can let me, and then customers say, well, when do you need to know? When do we need to tell you? And my answer is, honestly, like yesterday. But really just as soon as you can. When will you be able to let me know? So that's the way we respond when people say, "Hey, when do you need to know?" My answer is I laugh and I say yesterday, but truthfully though, we just as soon as possible. What do you need to figure out? What do you need to work out? When can you let me know? Yeah, and anytime now, we won't even be able to guarantee if we can get your job done. When will you be able to let us know? Okay, so let them know why it's beneficial. And then this is kind of the last point. Let them know why it's beneficial to get this done this year instead of waiting, and give them a pat on the back. Like, hey, I'm glad you're trying to get this done. It's smart. The reason it's better to get it done this year is paint costs go up. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Did you notice that Sherwin-Williams raises their prices every 2 weeks, basically? I mean, it's crazy, right? Paint prices are constantly going up. There's paint shortages. There's all kinds of issues. So it's true. Yeah, paint costs are going to go up. Labor costs are going to go up. I don't know if you guys have noticed there's a labor shortage. People aren't willing to work for labor rates. What's probably going to happen is the overall labor rates are going up. All right. So for those two reasons alone, like, yeah, it's good. It's good to paint now instead of waiting until next year, because next year paint costs are going to be up. Labor costs will probably be up. You're going to pay more money just because of those, but also you're going to pay more money because, if you have any exposed wood or peeling paint or any damage you've noticed on your house, when winter comes through, it's going to beat your house up a lot more. Any exposed wood, you run the risk of it getting damaged to the point where we can't paint it anymore and we actually need to replace it. That adds significant cost. So anyways, there's just a chance that you are going to pay, I don't know, 10, 15% more if you wait. It could be $300 or $400 or $500, maybe even more depending on the size of the house. And, one thing that we do offer customers is if you do sign up with us now and let's say it starts snowing October 1st and it never stops, we'll still honor your price for this year, beginning of next year. And even if there's more damage, we'll take care of it. And that's something we offer to our customers this time of year. Okay. Yes, Robert, it is. And Robert, you remember, man, go into the sales portion of the course and there's seasonal selling where I go into a lot more detail on this specifically. So just go check out the members area. And if you can't find the recording I'm talking about, because I did a whole hour training on just seasonal selling for this time of year, it's in the members area. I felt like this was kind of like I got to breeze over it because we only have so much time today. Okay. Production. Oh, and by the way, take your estimates and you can charge a little bit more right now. And if you really want the job, if you're actually desperate for the job, you can then bring it back down, but don't be afraid to charge more money right now. It's called supply and demand. It's just like airlines charge more money for, 6 p.m. flights on Friday than they do, red eyes on Friday night or whatever. I don't know how they price, but you get the picture, right? It's supply and demand. Right now, you can charge more. Okay. Production, labor and a labor shortage. All right. So paint and a paint shortage. I'm not going to even touch on the paint shortage right now. It's a whole other topic. I don't know how my team is dealing with it, but I know that we haven't really had problems with it. You got to get really creative and you got to hustle and you got to make shit happen for paint shortage, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about labor and a labor shortage. All right. So how to find labor in a labor shortage. So before we get into these couple of bullets, we got to understand something. Okay. We need to understand that there's a labor shortage, but it's a percentage. Okay. So it's not like half the labor force. It's not 50%. All right. It's like, if it's normally 4%, it's 10%. It's, it's some, I don't know the numbers, but it's not like half the labor pool is out. Okay. Now there is, did anyone else lose audio? Quick. Okay. Nope. Just you, Zach. Sorry, man. Maybe try logging out and back in. Although you can't hear me say that. Okay. Thanks everybody. So that's the first thing you got to understand is, yes, I know the labor shortage is real. It's real. No, hiring signs on every door and all that stuff. It's harder on restaurants than it is for us, but there's still a labor shortage. Not as many people want to go back to work and yada, yada, yada. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. So if you're in, let's just take my state. Okay. So I'm in Colorado. There's about 4 or 5 million people along the Front Range. It's a rough estimate, but there's somewhere between $1 and $2 billion in painting that's getting done each year. If we ballpark that at, let's just say, $1 billion in painting being done, there's somewhere around 10,000 painters, somewhere around that number. Just doing simple math, really rough math, something like 10,000 painters. So yeah, there might be 9,000 painters instead of 10,000 right now. There's still a shitload of people out there who need work and are still looking for work. And the people who are struggling the most are the people who can't attract labor. So there's a few keys, okay? The first is, when we were in the 2008 recession, I worked at a college painting company, and and we ended up being up 15% that year as a company. And the way that we went about it is, we're just going to work harder. Hey, it's down. We don't want to be down, so we're going to work harder. And we did. And we were up. In a labor shortage, you got to be way more aggressive. I've had a number of people email me and say, hey, I'm having trouble finding subcontractors. I say, cool, let me see your ads. When did you last post your ads? Like, I posted 3 last month. Like, dude, what are you talking about? You need to be posting like twice a day in 2 different places. On Craigslist is the only place we post. So I have 5 companies. Our company in Ohio is brand new. And we ramped up. It took us about 6 weeks to go from 0 to $30,000 a week in production. So we were able to add 30K a week in production in a brand new company in a new place we haven't been. In Colorado, we've ramped up from like 100,000 a week in production 6 months ago to like 160 a week now. I got another company that was producing about 50 to 60K a week. Now they're producing 110 a week. And that was about 6-7 weeks ago. We're having no trouble finding painters, but we're super aggressive. Okay. So I think Craigslist costs $25 a post right now. When we needed subcontractors, we're literally posting in, we'd post in like Denver and Colorado Springs, 2 different locations in general labor in both. Angel says they're $5. I think it depends on where you're located. But the point is, even if I'm doing two posts a day at 25 a day, that's $50 a day for 10 days is 500. If you do that for 10 days, you're going to find crews and you're going to spend 500, which might seem like a lot until you realize that one crew can do 4K a week for you. And for 8 weeks, that one crew puts $12,000 in your pocket. Who gives a shit about the 500 you spent on ads? Who cares about the 3,200 you spent on marketing? You're spending money to make money. So you got to get really aggressive, okay, with recruiting. That's the first thing. Post on Craigslist, post 1 to 2 times a day in the general labor section. General labor is better than skilled trades. And then do it in multiple locations. So if you're in a place where, you can post in nearby cities, do it, okay? Headline. Okay. Painting subcontractors needed ASAP. I would even recommend putting this in all caps. ASAP with an exclamation point is gold, but this is your headline. That's what's going to get clicks. And there's probably 20 new posts a day on Craigslist and general labor. You want your posts always at the top. You don't want people to scroll. And then you got to write your job posting, but jobs available now, work for the next 2 months. We're just, I don't have it prepared right now, Matt. Let me see if I can find it quick. Hang on. Okay, sec, guys. Sorry, give me a sec, give me a sec, give me a sec, give me a sec. Mm-hmm. Just trying to find this ad for you guys, that's all. Right. Okay. Yeah, edit this thing quick, and then we'll get this thing on the slide, and then you'll have to watch the. Bear with me. Okay. Hang in there, guys. Almost done. So I'm just deleting some of the personal information out of this. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. There's the ad. All right. So we go headline, all caps, painting subcontractors needed ASAP. We're a company name and we're booming with customers. We have more work than we know what to do with. We're looking for experienced painting subcontractors, partner with long-term. We have jobs ready to start ASAP. Work with company name, get paid the day you finish a job, consistent work. We have more than you can handle, top of industry pay. We aren't the cheapest in town because we like to work with the best people. We pay well. Most importantly, we treat you as partners. We know this is a two-way street. Requirements, registered business, necessary tools and equipment, journal liability, deliver high quality work and show up on time. If you're ready for a long-term profitable relationship, contact us today. Contact, John at 1111111 or John at, paintersplus.com. We look forward to working with you. Okay. So that's your ad. Take a screenshot if you want, watch the recording if you want to pull this, but this is what we use. That's it. And we just post like crazy. All right. Now here's the thing that'll get you leads. But if you don't back this up, if you're not actually a great company to work for, you're not a great person to work for, you're disorganized, you don't treat people with the utmost respect, you don't keep people busy. If you don't back this up, you're not going to keep subcontractors. All right. But that's how we find them. Okay. And then the other thing is, like, when we say back this up, like literally, like if you're not, like, you want to attract the best people, you got to pay the best. It's, once in a while you find a diamond in the rough who totally undervalues themselves, but mostly you want great people, you got to pay well. Okay. Moving on. I just wanted to include this slide quick because there's people who knock subcontractors, and I think it's wrong. Not just like knocking them as people, but the subcontractor model. Now, I'm sure there's people out there who do a really shitty job, right? So there's people out there who, do try to sell the job to the cheapest person on Craigslist. And there's plenty of subcontractors who do a terrible job and try to steal your clients and all that. Yeah, that happens. I'm sure it does. But also I used employees for the first 5 years of my career. And I hired plenty of crummy employees and people who didn't show up to work and people who bailed and people who made a mess and people who screwed up the paint job. And look, I've had problems with employees. I've had problems with subcontractors. I've had a few great employees. I've had some really great subcontractors. Down here at the bottom, ultimately, they're all people. We're hiring people, and the best people work for the best people. It's why your price matters. But a couple quick questions I just get all the time. If they have their own marked van or truck, they're not a subcontractor. They're someone who owns a company who doesn't have enough of their own work, so they're trying to pick up work. That's not a subcontractor. A subcontractor, the one I'm talking about, is someone who knows that that's what they are. Like, that's their business model. And I have some subcontractors that know damn well that they're subcontractors and they cannot represent any company besides mine on my job sites. They make sure their vans are permanently unmarked, that they're either wearing a Sherwin-Williams t-shirt or our t-shirt, that they don't steal a client from us because we are their client. All right. So anyways, that's what we mean by subcontract. And there's tons of those out there. Okay. So real quick, problems with employees, benefits, the corresponding benefits using subcontractor. Employees are less committed. Fundamentally, they might get a better job offer somewhere else and take it. And just if we're comparing how committed people are, a subcontractor is fully committed. They literally own a business. They own equipment. They own a truck. They maybe have people who rely on them for employment. They've been used rarely as a subcontractor, someone who just didn't have a bunch of painting experience before. They're fully committed. So you can count, they're more count onable to stick with it long term. You got to pay employees hourly compensation. If you do use employees, do piecework. But you can, if you're going to use employees, there's ways to structure it to still make your margins guaranteed-ish. But if at the end of the day, employees go way over budget, you have to pay a minimum wage. Subs, you set the price ahead of time. That's the price. You have an obligation to provide employees work. If you hire employees and you hire an employee and you have a job for him this week and you don't have work for him next week, he's going to quit. If you start a job with a subcontractor this week and you don't have one next week, he's going to go find another job because he's a business owner. And if you have a job the next week and he really liked working with you and you pay well, he'll come back and do another. You got to provide equipment to employees. 2-man crew John Shear could probably answer this question better than I can, but probably $2,000, $1,500 to equip, maybe $1,200 to fully equip a 2-man crew. Subs come with their own equipment. You don't need to buy it. You don't need to maintain it. You got to deal with payroll taxes, timesheets, employment rules and regulations with employees. With subcontractors, they fill out a W-9 form. You write them a check. You write it to their business. Training's required with employees because you're accountable that the job is done well. You need to train them to make sure the job is done well. With subcontractors, you don't need to train them because their pay is contingent on the contract was delivered. Like, if they don't do a good job, they don't get paid. Now, quick warning, that doesn't mean you can just hire someone and assume they're going to do a good job. You still need to be really selective and run them through the ringer and choose, be selective with who you work with. They're still representing you and your company. You should be just as selective with the subcontractors as you would with any other employee that you're going to work with or person you're going to work with. But fundamentally, like, these guys literally own a business. They're responsible for training their own employees. They get paid when the job has been delivered. If the quality work isn't there, they've got to keep doing it until it is there. If you no longer have confidence they can do it, you bring in someone else to fix it on their behalf. So their pay is contingent upon doing a good job. You need to keep a consistent workload for employees. This is why there's an opportunity this time of year, because people who run employee crews can't scale up and scale back down. All right, we've probably got 100 painters working on job sites at Foothills Painting right now. In December, we might have 10 to 20, because we've ramped up significantly to handle the demand, and then there's going to be less demand. Now, we're really working on less seasonality for our business because we want to keep our guys busier, but the reality is, no matter how much you try, there's more work in the winter or in the summer than there is in the winter. And you don't need to worry about ramping up with employees, adding equipment, adding training, doing all that, and then laying people off. You can easily ramp up and ramp down with subcontractors. With employees, you got to build the crews yourself. If you want a 6-person crew to tackle large jobs, you've got to hire and equip and train 6 people. I've got subcontractors who have 10 guys. They've already equipped them. They've already trained them. If someone quits, they replace them. All right, so just some huge benefits to using subcontractors versus employees. So that's all I want to say on that. All right. in summary, and let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Eric, great stuff. Don't want to distract, but somewhere in the members area where we talk about how to pay deal with new subs. I had one sub this week that wanted 50% down. I told him no. We agreed to 25% down, 25 the next day, and balance after live. But even that 25 made me nervous because he's an unknown. I wouldn't pay money up front, Michelle. I'll kind of answer this question at the end, Michelle. But I would be willing to buy their materials up front, but I don't put money down. Yeah, that would just be a deal breaker. And then John, okay, so I was in the ballpark, $14.50 for sub kit. We have hundreds of ladders. They said, oh, got it. Nice, John. That's a cool move. He said $14.50 for sub kit. We have hundreds of ladders. They sign off if they need to borrow. And then Michelle, we don't pay our subs down payments. They get paid when the job's completed. Okay, so everything we've covered, guys. Then I'm just going to switch to Q&A. The numbers, set a goal, break it down, and then attack. Marketing, add a new marketing channel you weren't using before. It's not a budget of 400 a week. I should take that off. Your budget, it depends on the goal. If you want 8 estimates a week, break those numbers down and be like, cool, I can spend $1,500 a week then. Sales, build urgency by being honest with customers about their timing. Not disrespectful, just honest. Like, yeah, you waited, but I'll take care of you. If you wait, I can't guarantee anything. Like, balls in our court for 2 months of the year. Enjoy it. Production, aggressively recruit for new painters. Pay more than other people do. Don't be shy about saying that you're doing that. That's music to their ears. What if you walked into a customer's house and they're like, hey, I really want my house painted and I want the best person. I'm willing to pay more. It's like music to my ears. Make extra money, enjoy the slow season. All right, questions. We'll stop here and take questions. And if you guys want to actually like ask your question out loud, just raise your hand and I'll allow you to talk. And I'm pulling all this stuff up. Okay. So we got Angel. How do you estimate a job? Square footage versus hour? Better. Angel, square footage estimates are not accurate enough. We have production rates. So we estimate the hours based on specifics, and then we multiply the hours by the hourly rate that we're estimating, and then we add in the material costs, and then we add a markup. And a production rate would be, how long does it take to paint 10 feet of railings? How long does it how long does it take to paint trim in a bedroom if you're not painting the wall? How long does it take if you are painting the wall? How long does it take to paint a ceiling if you're painting the wall also? How long does it take to paint a ceiling if you're not painting the wall? There's production rates depending on what you're painting. Vladimir, I don't know that you're still here. Yes, you are. And yes, it's recorded and we'll be posting it. It'll be available to watch for about a week. All right. What other questions do you guys have? If any. Don't see a lot of hands. Don't see a lot of chat. Andrew said, how large is your service area? I'm in year 1 and on track to do 500 to 600,000. And I'm finding my time gets destroyed by driving. I tell customers I'll go within an hour of my hub. Andrew, I think, where do you live, Andrew? And put in the chat where you live. I think what you did is the right thing, Andrew. I think you're in Philly. Yeah, you shouldn't have to drive that much in Philly. It's a big enough area that what I would say is lower your service area and spend more money on marketing in that service area, and you'll be able to drive less. The other answer to your question, Andrew, yeah, traffic sucks. The other answer to your question, though, Andrew, is you're in what I call in phase 1, and you need to transition to phase 2. All right, so phase 1 is where you're building the foundation. You're building you need a business plan and strategy. You need good pricing process and estimating process, marketing, sales, and production management. Those 5 aspects of building your foundation, you do yourself. But there's a point you get to when you can't grow your business anymore doing it all yourself. That's when you enter phase 2 of building your business, where you need to start to hire a project manager, and then that project manager frees up a bunch of your time and your driving. Then you can do more sales, but then you're busy doing sales. That's when you hire a salesperson. They take that off your plate, and then you ramp up again and get a second salesperson. And that's that transition from I'm doing it all myself to I've got a project manager managing projects, 2 salespeople selling. I'm supporting them. and how you run a business and the skill set required to run a business at that stage alters dramatically. But that is why you started a business, was to create freedom and to create income. And, I want to help people build a great business, which also requires that those employees you have an awesome life, an awesome job, make awesome money. Your customers have an amazing experience. And to do all that really does take something different. Okay. Ty, what are your thoughts on Home Advisor? I hear horror stories in the Facebook group at times. You can make it work. I think you have to take total ownership over making it work. Now, Ty, most people who complain about Home Advisor have a shitty sales process. Like if you don't know how to get a lead and turn it into a sale, it's not going to be good. Nothing will be good. But you got to make it happen. You also should be pretty ruthless about getting credits when they send you bad leads. Yeah. So, okay. Let's see what else we got. Matt said all the questions answered in this are in his course and above and beyond. I will share about that. I mean, I just want to answer people's questions first in case people have to go, but I will share about my program and how I help people go way deeper on all this. How do you handle the situation if you book a bunch of work and failed to line up the labor in time to accomplish the customers that wanted it done? Well, that would be a real pickle, wouldn't it? Start posting ads right now. So what I would suggest doing, I think that's you, Ryan. Straightlinemn.com. I'm pretty sure that's Ryan. Customers have no problem if you do their job early. Customers have a problem if you push their job back. I would say go aggressively start recruiting contractors. When you find someone you want to work with, call a client, move them up in the schedule, put that contractor to work, move another client up in the schedule, put them to work, and then go start selling. That's how I would do it. How many contractor gets the lead when you sell it? At Painter Choice, we sell the lead to up to 4, but in most markets, it's like 2. On average, at Painter Choice, 1.5. Our average lead goes to 1.5 contractors at Painter Choice. Again, we're a small company. The lead business sucks. Adding Thumbtack now. We booked 3 jobs last year in September. Produced them right before the nasty weather hit. They booked a spot with me. Beautiful, Robert. Matt said I should do a screen share of the homepage of the course to show the titles of each section without opening and giving away. Yep, I will. Pretty aggressive with bag signs here in Ottawa. That drives a lot of business to us. Awesome, Paul. Andrew, how do you balance quality of lead and quality of lead? I don't understand the question. How do you balance quality of lead and quality of lead? Sorry, not sure what that question is. Angel, a 13, in quantity. It's based, Andrew, it's based on your business model and the percentage you're willing to spend on marketing. I think the high end you should aim for is 10%. So if you spend $1,000 on marketing, you should get 10K in sales. Now, let's say I'm Ty and I'm trying out Home Advisor and I spend $1,300 on Home Advisor and I make 10K in sales. I'm at 13%. I'm still profitable. And now I've got data and I can start tweaking, improving, and getting that down to 10%. Over time, as your sales gets better and your business gets better and your reputation gets better, those marketing costs should drive down. So Foothills Painting, we're at like 4% on marketing. We want to spend as much as we can because marketing is what limits or expands the size of your business. So we spend as much as we absolutely can on marketing as long as it hits our margins. And if it's not hitting our margins, we don't quit it. We tweak it, improve it, optimize it, learn from it, make it better. Because at the end of the day, once you get your business built properly, marketing is the limiter. Marketing is what limits the size of your company. So we don't want to eliminate any marketing. We want to solve how to make it super profitable. And it took us a long time to get Home Advisor working really well for us, but they drive a lot of business. Okay. All right. So I'll answer more questions. Let me shift gears real quick. I don't limit marketing during the winter. We're going to go all in on marketing in the winter for sure, because we want to keep our guys busy. In fact, we're willing to spend way more money percentage wise on marketing in the winter just so we can keep our guys busy. Look, if I could break even but get more guys busy, I'd do it. So no, we're going to be super aggressive with marketing in the winter. All right, guys. So real quick, just because this is, I know this has been valuable. I think from the looks of it, it's been valuable. The most valuable thing I do is what I do with the Painting Business Pro program. So I'm gonna give you a quick overview of what I do. So I've done this for a long time, but I'm gonna tell you what I do, what I'm doing now. So what I'm really passionate about and inspired by is helping people build a really great business and a really, inspiring business. I'm really not interested in helping people build a mediocre business. And I've helped a ton of people build a business that has made them a great lifestyle. And, but I really want to work with people who want to build a great business. So to me, what that looks like is it's something like you have roughly a $2 million business. You've got a couple salespeople, a couple project managers, an office manager, see a tie, where you've built a team that does all the doing of the business. So as the business owner, you've created like a great business. You've got freedom of time, you're making great money, but that's not enough for me. Like, that's not what makes a great business. That makes a great business for the business owner. But if it's at the expense of the employees or the painters, subcontractors, the customers, the community, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in, hey, you've built this awesome business that provides you the lifestyle you want and you the income you want and the upside and the opportunity, but also you've built an awesome culture. You have a great team of employees who love their job, make great money, have a great life, have opportunities to grow. Your subcontractors and painters love working for you. You're providing a better opportunity than anybody else is. That's why they never leave you. Your customers have an incredible experience, and you're giving back to the community, making a difference in the community. Now, that's the kind of business I'm interested in helping people build. And the reality is that business, that takes a lot of work to build that kind of business, because to build a really great business like that, you've got to be a really great leader. And it's hard to be a really great leader. It takes a lot of training and development to be a great leader, like an inspiring, powerful, make a difference for my people kind of leader. It just takes a lot of training to become that kind of person. None of us are born with that ability. And, it's interesting because I think if you go ask most business owners if they're a good leader or a good boss, most would say yes. And if there's any problems with people, they would say, well, yeah, it's really hard to find good help. People are this way, people are that way. They point the finger. Yet in a study, 70% of people said their boss is the worst part of their job. There's something off here, okay? I believe the employees in that situation, not the bosses, okay? So it takes a lot to train and develop you to be a really great leader. It takes a lot of work to become someone who's really good at recruiting great people, onboarding and training people, developing people, and building a strong culture. And if you want to have a real shot at building that kind of culture and team of high performers, you need to have a really strong foundation. And I say the foundation is mostly, business planning and strategy, your estimating and pricing, marketing, sales, and production. You need to have a really strong set of systems there. And then, to Andrew's question, your tech stack and CRM and how you keep your business organized and all that's super important too. Okay, so that's building that kind of company takes 2 to 4 years, depending on how the foundation you already have, how aggressive you are with your training and development. But you need to, it takes developing yourself, educating yourself, and learning more than most people are willing to. So that's who I want to work with, and that's what I want to help people do. People are really committed to training, developing themselves, and learning, are willing to put in the work, are not trying to get rich quick. They care about the impact their business has on other people, not just the bottom line. And sometimes, guys, it means I'm willing to grow my business slower to do it right. And the reality is it's going to take 2 to 4 years to do it. Again, depending on your background and how far along you are. So the way that we do this was the ad. All right, the way that we do this is a master business plan. This is from Breakthrough Academy. It's an old version, but we start with making, your business plan. So we've got your budget and, map out your financials for the year. And then we map out your sales plan for the year. And then we map out your production plan for the year. So you kind of know, how you're doing, if you're on track or off track. So I'm going to be updating this a ton this fall. And in November and December, I'm going to work with all the members to make sure everyone's got a really solid business plan mapped out financially, marketing and sales and production before 2022 ever starts. Because the truth is 2022 starts when you start planning. The second thing that we've got, and this is going to get integrated into the master business plan, but this is kind of my checklist for building and growing your business. So we've got to build your master business plan. We've got to have this conversation about living an aligned life. And that you've created your commitments for your life and you've aligned your commitments in your life with your calendar. If you don't carve out time for what really matters to you, business will consume it. And that's what you see with most entrepreneurs. They're overworked. And look, working hard is one way to success, but it's not the path I'm interested in traveling. It's not the path I'm interested in helping people traveling. I want to help you build a great business without sacrificing the things that really matter to you. By the way, this training, Matt can speak to this, but this training on living a aligned life, it starts with organizing your commitments and your schedule, but then we're going to get into some of the really fundamental principles for being a great leader, a great business owner that are going to take a lot of work to master. And so we're going to be laying the foundation with this business plan, this checklist, and aligning your life before the year even starts, because doing this work here that we have a training on, this is the first, I'm literally doing this with a new employee next Tuesday for 3 hours because it's the most important thing that we do in our company to help people improve their performance. You also need to make sure you have consistent, dedicated time for learning and training and developing yourself. So then what we've got is we kind of have these main steps. So phase one, where you're building the foundation, like we need to check these boxes for marketing. We need to check these boxes for sales, these boxes for production, these boxes for profit, and this box for your time and efficiency. If you're doing all of these things really well, but you're working 60 hours a week, you haven't mastered anything yet. We need to have some level of mastery in the foundations of your business before you should start hiring a team. So that's what we do in phase one. And then I'm going to build this out more. This is more like a placeholder right now, but then we bring on a production manager, then a sales rep. And then this is going to be phase two, team building. What we're going to be adding in addition to all this is some personal training and development stuff that doesn't have anything to do with painting. It has to do with about leadership, about coaching and developing people, about communication, I can't even get into it, but there's a lot. It's all the stuff I do with my business partners, my employees that really makes the biggest difference. So this is how the course works, right? We have a master business plan, and then we have this like checklist. So your job, like how quickly you grow a business, has nothing to do with how many years you do it. There's people who have been in business for 15 years and haven't grown. There's other people who, have been in business for a few years and are doing a few million a year. Your growth has nothing to do with how many years you're in business or how many hours a week you work. Your growth has to do with checking these boxes, has to do with developing your skill set. And so if you can't sell 30% of your estimates as a minimum, we want to get that a lot higher. So I'll probably be building this out a lot more. But if you can't do that, then you need to go and consult. You need to improve sales. Or if you're not getting a 50% profit margin, you need to work on pricing more, which I actually need to get on here. I guess this is a little bit of pricing, but you need to work on pricing and you need to work on sales. And then we probably need to work on how we negotiate and work with our subcontractors or how we help them be more efficient. So depending on what boxes you're not checking or on your master business plan, what targets you're not hitting, that kind of tells you this is what I need to go work on. This is the skill I have to go develop. And most people don't dedicate enough time to learning. They just keep hammering it out and they kind of learn by accident, not by intention. So once you know what you've got to work on and improve, then we've got this members area, and give me a sec to pull it up. So the first thing you would do is you would come into this membership area Come on. And we've got all these trainings. So we've got, here's like the designing your life and aligning your life. Here's your business building checklist. Here's master business plan and building it and a bunch of examples, but I'm going to update all that. And then we've got business planning and strategy. You need to understand that. Estimating. And so these estimating sheets are super detailed. So just a quick example. So this is, oops, that's not, I guess that'll work. We have different sheets depending on if you have sales tax, if you're in metric, user manuals for all this, but let's just look at the interior one quick. So this is really complex. We have production rates built out for everything over here. These are all the production rates for how long things will take. You don't ever need to touch this. You just go in here and you put in the type of wall, the length and the height, ceiling, length, height, the door, you know, you just fill this out and it spits out the price. All right. So this is, there's hundreds of hours put into this, and we've got it's really detailed and complex, but we've got an hour to 2 hour training on how you get this so that your prices are the right price every time. All right. So we've got everything from estimating to marketing and all the fundamentals for marketing, sales. These are a ton of sales training videos. So the fall rush, here's your seasonal selling training. And then we'll probably add this to it. Anyways, we've got a ton of training in here for sales, production, admin, and then over here, we've got team building stuff. And I'm going to add a ton to this, but this is going to include everything like employment agreements, compensation plan, job postings, interview forms, and all that good stuff. So depending on where you're at with your master business plan, the first thing you're going to do is go to the training and follow what we've already created. And if you can't check these boxes with the training that's already there, then we have 4 live coaching webinars per month. They're an hour and a half long. My business partner, Ben, who runs Foothills, does one. My business partner, Hunter, who runs Elkhorn Painting, the superstar, he runs one. I run one. And then Shane runs one that's primarily around, Shane's my best buddy. He runs a $3 million painting company in town. He's my best man at my wedding and my biggest competitor. And he does all the estimating stuff in this course, but can answer a lot of other questions too. So let's say you go through all the sales training, you're trying to implement it and you're still not hitting your sales goals. Then you come to the webinar and you ask questions. That tells us where there's a gap in the program, where we need to add more training. Then we go and build the training and put it back in. All right. So we also have a Facebook group where we're making constant updates and all that good stuff. Okay. So that's really what we do is we've got all this training and this checklist, and you've got basically a roadmap for $0 to $2 million a year. And we're going to continue to keep supporting you along the way and adding the necessary training to keep you on that track and keep removing the hurdles to help you get there faster. Okay. Whew. Sorry, I'm trying to go through this fast so I can answer more questions. And then Ryan, how comparable is the new estimate study to the papers price-wise? Pricing is going to be similar, Ryan. It's just a lot more detailed. And honestly, the estimating for interior is way, way better. And then we're going to keep building some stuff out there. So Devin asked the cost. It's $2,500 a year, an annual membership. And normally the team building portion is $1,500 extra. We're going to include that for you for free. So it would include everything you need from 0 to 2 million ish, and everything I just went through. And it's we'll include team building. So that's it. Yep. So you just, I'll send you guys this link. Actually, I'll put it in the chat real quick if you want it. But we're just going to extend that discount till the end of the month. There's a payment plan too. So it's one payment, $2,500 for the year, or you can do 6 payments of $500. There's a little bit of savings if you pay in full. Okay. What questions do you guys? Do you have any questions about? Yes, Jay. Yeah, $2,500 a year. In October, I'm not sure the date yet, but sometime in October, we're going to raise the price to probably $3,750 for the year. You're getting a disc. I'm offering it for less now because I haven't built all the stuff we're going to build yet. Kip, I'm assuming Kip's question, my Google Docs are view only. How can they be open to use? So Kip, I'm assuming you're talking about the Painting Business Pro ones. If you're having any trouble, just shoot us an email and we'll fix it. But you go to File, Make a Copy. The ones in the course are the master version. So we don't allow you to edit those because you'd be editing them for everybody. Paul said worth it all day long. He sent that only to panelists. I swear Paul said that. So anyways, yeah, guys, the membership I do is awesome. You know, but what we're going to do this fall, and this is for everyone who's a member as well. And I know there's quite a few of you on here. So we're going to raise the price in October, and I'm doing it in October. I'm not doing a Black Friday sale because I'm going to spend all of November and December making sure that every single member has built their master business plan for 2022, has their business checklist so they know what boxes they need to check for 2022. We're putting a new webinar protocol in place for 2022. And then starting January, so that's going to be like when I really get dialed in the training for the master business plan, organizing your strategy, and getting your foundation down for just your personal organization, your life commitments, and some of these other foundational trainings. We're going to do probably 10 coaching webinars that are really well, you know, I'm going to work through those a ton, but there's probably going to be 10 live webinars, maybe more in just November and December to set a really strong foundation for 2022. Starting in 2022, I'm going to go a lot deeper into making much better estimating training, marketing training, sales training, and production training to help people conquer those check boxes, get through phase one, and then move into team building. Once we get that dialed in, then I'm going to start getting way deeper with members on team building. What's in the course now is really good, and building teams is really tough to do it really, really well. And there's a lot more I have to add and share with team building. So that'll be kind of the plan for going into next year. We want to get everybody on the right track at the end of this year. And then, you know, just really support that growth through next year. At some point, well, yeah, so that's kind of the game plan for anyone who cares. Kip, did I answer your question about your Google Docs? And then if you're watching this recording on Facebook or on YouTube or something, there'll be a link below the video or in the comments or something where you can sign up for the course. Again, it's $2,500 a year, or there's a payment plan, and that will be the price. And basically that'll be the price until what? October something. It'll be like mid to late October. And that's when we'll be increasing the price. Does anyone else have any questions about this fall rush, subcontractors, sales, marketing? Any questions about the Painting Business Pro program? Mark, we're going to email the link for the recording out. So because you are here, we've got your email. So we'll send it out tomorrow morning. Yeah, awesome, Michelle. Make it happen, my friend. Yes, Juan. Same price to members. Jay, I'm not sure. Email me. Oh, yeah, Andrew, sorry I missed that question. He said, do you try and build a culture with your subs? 100%. Absolutely. I mean, our subs are like our guys. You know, one of the big issues I see is, and someone emailed me this today, I think I'm going to make a video about it tomorrow, I think. If not tomorrow, it'll be soon. But the question was something about like subcontractors who show up and then they start the job and then they ask for more money. My main answer to that question and that predicament is it's probably because you haven't built strong relationships with subs. Like that should only happen with a new sub. And if we do a job with a sub, probably 70% of them become long-term relationships. So the way you build long-term relationships with subcontractors is by being really thorough. You know, when we get into team building in the membership, you're going to see how ruthlessly thorough our team building process is. I mean, I just brought on 2 new marketing directors to National Painting Group. They started April 26th. They just finished their onboarding training. Matt, I appreciate you, man. Testimony here for Eric. To everyone here, I'm 3-member with Eric and his course. All his other courses are worth their weight in gold. Seriously, I have a 5-star company because all this is super user-friendly to understand all his details. He'll help you with anything you might have questions on the road, down the road. He's here to work with you as he did with us. You're the man. Appreciate you. Andrew, we don't require, Andrew asked, do you require your subs to give you scheduling priority? Andrew, we don't require that. They just do. They want to do our jobs more than any others. And if some of our subs will do some of their own work, but it's very rare. And they definitely let us know ahead of time. No one ever leaves us high and dry because they value our relationship. They're our partner. You can't get much closer to a partnership than the relationship you have with your subcontractors. Ryan said, or they show up and decline to do it unless we give more money. They use leverage because they have other jobs from other contractors. So what you need to do, Ryan, is have more leverage. Meaning you need to have someone else that's ready to do it. Yeah, you basically got to get a core group of a few subcontractors so that if that ever happens, like that's a deal breaker. You're like, dude, you can't do this. I'll give him a shot or two. I'm like, nope, sorry, no pass. Because here's the thing is if you hold strong, Ryan, and you say, oh, sorry, man, that's not how I do business, you don't get the job at all now. They're going home not working today. So it's there. Go watch, Ryan, in the membership area under production. Go watch the video on negotiating with subcontractors. Their job is to ask for more money. You just need to know how to deal with that. And the way you deal with that is you do not negotiate. No matter what problems it causes you, you don't negotiate. Okay. Any other yeah, it's in, let's see, where is it? Yeah, it's literally the last video in the production section, Ryan. It's good. It's not super long. It's a 10-minute video. And I think that'll help you resolve that. All right, guys. Any last questions for anybody? Just curious. I would love to hear, before I go, the one thing I would ask is, how was the webinar? Did it deliver what you wanted? Did you learn what you wanted? Did you get what you came for? What did you like best? Any feedback would be awesome. And then we'll send you guys a recording tomorrow. Awesome. Great, Ryan. Thanks, Paul. You too, man. Finish strong, my man. Yeah, Michelle, I'm glad you could be here. I'm going to stop the recording, but so anyways, yeah, if you watched the webinar, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be seeing y'all